What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Kinda Funny podcast. I'm one of your hosts, Greg Miller, alongside the producer / seducer, Nick Scarpino.
Hello, Greg.
This is a sweater. All right,
Yeah.
is this new? I haven't seen this.
This
one
is
in
new.
a while.
I got it in London.
Oh,
yeah. I walked by
London
this little shop in London, and it was closed. But the guy that was working inside looked cool.
Yeah.
So I came back the next day.
Oh wow. Okay.
Because I was like, we have one more day here. Came back the next day and it was open, and there was another guy in the store, and he also looked cool.
Yeah.
So I tried this on, and then another guy that looked cool came in to buy one of these sweaters.
Wow.
And I was like, I'm at the right place.
Yeah. You nailed it.
So yeah, it's a cotton
Yeah.
sweater. It's not wool or anything. It's not fancy.
You gotta dry, lay flat to dry. You can't toss it in the
I
dryer.
think I don't know.
You're
We're
in
going to
trouble.
jump over that bridge when we get to it. This might be a dry clean only kind of thing.
Oh no.
You don't dry clean your sweaters?
No,
Why
I'm
not?
dry cleaning. Because I look like this. I'm wearing a Superman screen printed sweatshirt. That's why.
I don't think you
I ordered this
can you
from DCComics.com. That's why.
That's
all right?
fair, and it looks well worn.
It's wear too. Tim was so offended by this. It came out of the package not looking great. The T-shirt looks great. I think. I mean, it looks great.
It's
but
vintagey. It looks vintagey. It's
the
fun.
S itself, I think could have done more. James Gunn, you'll hear from my lawyers. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, for sure.
And of course, rounding out this trio, he's the best voice in the business. Parris Lilly.
Hi, Greg.
Hey, how are you?
I should
You gotta
read
get up.
Hi, Greg.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. I'm happy to be here.
We said we put you on the show, and you go, oh great. I've never been on the show.
Yes.
I want to do that show.
You know, you may not remember this. I was supposed to be on here 5 years ago,
No, I definitely don't remember.
and
that.
there was a little thing called a global pandemic, and I wasn't. So here I am.
Well, I'm sorry it took that long.
Yeah.
What was your topic going to be 5 years ago?
It was going to be something about wrestling.
I'm sure we'll get to that
fun.
again.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll get to that again. Yeah. Before we do that, you've been hanging out with us all day. You did Game of the Year. Thank you
Yep.
so much. Nick brought it up before we went live. Dunk on Tim a bit. We'd like to take him down. And what do you have to say about Tim? You've seen him
liked
all.
him.
Yeah, no,
I
we
like him too.
love
We love him
Tim. We love
We
Tim.
love him too. We
But
love
this
him.
guy.
You know what? The only thing I can dunk on
Here
him
we
about
go.
is I don't like how he was looking at me during the Game of the
Yeah.
Year
Yeah.
episode.
Yeah.
He kind of gave me that look like, really? You know,
Yeah.
I didn't like that.
Yeah, like he's about to disagree with you.
Yeah.
You're like, no,
He's
no.
combative.
Like a very disappointing.
Yeah, he's combative.
No, actually, no.
Lay
Think
on
about
him.
it.
Lay it on him. This is a hard truth segment. It's fun.
I called into a KFGD one day with him and Blessing, right?
Yeah.
And we're talking something about console sales or whatever.
Yeah.
And he so disagreed with everything that I said. I was half offended
Yeah.
when I hung
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
what I don't like.
The
about
annoying thing though
Yeah.
is like
He's usually
you
right.
know what you're talking about. Imagine my
Not really.
perspective. When I start talking and Tim disagrees with me and I'm like, I have nothing to back that up.
Yeah.
So he's
See, I
always
feel-
right. That's the problem. He's always right when I start arguing.
That's
with
the
him.
problem.
That's
After
annoying.
10 years of having me and Nick, the jackals, right next to
Yeah.
him, we just tear him apart. So he's always combative because he's ready to fight.
Of course. But I like to think that it makes him better because
like
he
to
never
think
had an
that.
older brother. You know,
That's true. Yeah, there's never someone to take him down a peg. Yeah,
you didn't either, but you had multiple personalities growing up, so you were your own older brother.
I mean, I gave as good as I got to myself. You know what I mean?
Mommy hit me again.
Yeah, no, Tim's got an attitude problem for sure. That's the problem. I noticed, not enough people are smiling on the Gamescast either. You know what I mean? That's something I learned with Up at Noon.
Looks like
Even when I'm listening,
people here is
smile.
a Stanford prison experiment. What the hell's going on?
Exactly. Not a fan of
Craig
that.
is
Not a fan
smiling
of
the whole time I'm podcasting with you too. It's great.
that. Parris, thank you for hanging out. Thanks for coming up to do this with us.
Thank you for having me up. It's always a treat when I get to come in the studio.
I think the thing I forget about you, Parris, is how large you are. Because I'm a large man myself, but look at these fists.
Dude, I forget.
You want me to raise the microphone? I feel like you're having to lean into it.
I know
too
I am
much.
kind of leaning in.
I'm a
raise
small
it.
man.
Sorry, I should have done that. I was
No,
running around
Kevin,
doing
you're
other
okay. You're doing
stuff.
great. You were looking for
Mike's
something.
like, hey, give me these headphones. I need them now.
He's
I'm
leaving.
leaving.
Yeah.
Well, yeah,
fair.
that's why he needed them now instead of next Monday. You know?
I do know, Kev. What are you going to say about being a small man, Nick?
I walk in. And you don't think of yourself as a small person
No.
when you walk around because everything's relative.
Yeah.
To other people in my life, I'm average size. To some people, I'm slightly taller than them. I'm not towering over anyone by any stretch of the imagination. But there are some people to whom
Gia?
I see eye to eye. Gia, I might as well be
Okay.
Jack and the Giant and the Beanstalk. You know what I mean? Like there are small dogs that are taller than she is. But I walk in today, and I remember Parris was going to be here. I was very excited, and then I saw you again, and I stumbled over myself when you got up to hug me. Like I went in for the hand. It was an awkward thing, and I went.
he
and I was
enveloped
like-
your
and then
body.
he hugged me.
I've learned it. We're
Yeah.
huggers, not handshakers.
I'm a hugger too. I'm a hugger too.
Yeah.
But I never want to assume. And then he hugged me, and I just felt so safe. Just so safe, dude.
Yeah.
I get
of
it.
course. Yeah, you have to.
You know, a funny thing about my family is I'm the anomaly. Everybody in my family short.
Really?
No one is over 6 feet tall except me.
How tall was the milkman?
Well, it's funny you say that. We did the whole ancestry thing, and we confirmed who the parents were, so we're good. My sister and I have the same parents.
Okay, fair.
Yeah.
Good. I'm glad that worked out.
Are you eldest?
No, I'm the youngest, actually.
Really? That's odd.
How many? Just you and your sister?
Well, do we really want to get in my whole family tree? Because I can tell you a story.
About it. I don't know anything.
Okay, so if you just go by with my mother and father, I only have one sister. My older sister, she's 8 years older than me.
Okay.
But if we go by my father, I am number 6.
Oh,
Okay.
And I'm the alleged last one.
okay.
Seriously, I have 5 sisters.
Oh, but you said alleged, like you have beliefs that there's one kid.
Well, there's some sketchy stuff even that allegedly I might have another sister that's the same exact age as me.
Whoa.
But it's not my mom.
Okay.
That's wild.
Yeah.
My father, he was out there.
Yeah, apparently.
Yeah.
Do you keep in touch with the other 5 here? Oh,
Well,
your sister, obviously.
again, it's an age thing. All right, so my father was 48 years old when I was born.
Wow.
He had an entire other family before I came along.
Wow.
And then I came along, allegedly the last one, he married my mom, the whole thing. They weren't married that long. That's why I'm free to talk like this. I really
Sure.
But I have, again, the whole ancestry thing, I found out, I thought I had 4 sisters. That's how I found out I had 5, because through ancestry, I found out my half niece and I matched. I had no freaking clue who she was, right?
Okay.
Couldn't figure it out. She was like in North Carolina or whatever. And again, let's tell the story, because this is a crazy thing. Danny was actually with me when this happened. So I could not figure this out. I'm talking to my sister. She couldn't figure it out. My mom had come out telling her she couldn't figure it out.
Dad passed away?
And my he passed a long time ago. So we could not figure out how in the hell, because it was coming up as my first cousin. I was like, how? We couldn't figure it out.
Yeah.
Turns out I'm at a Division II event at Red Storm in North Carolina. That's where
the Division II.
Yeah.
I thought when you said, I was like,
D2 wrestling.
I thought it was like, your kids in Division II wrestling, Division II basketball.
Division II. Yeah, Red Storm. So my sister had done the ancestry thing, and we were waiting for the results. I'm literally meeting who turned out to be my half niece that day. Again, at this point, have no clue how we're related or whatever.
Yeah.
My sister's results come in the day I'm meeting her. So then my sister and I found out, we're 100% all that. We get her on a conference call, and we're kind of just talking, trying to figure out how we're related, how is this working. Long story short, my oldest sister, and what I found out is my half niece's mother, which is my other half sister, used to play together when they were kids, and they were pen pals. And the other mom left to New York with this half sister I didn't know about, because my dad even back then was all over the fucking place.
Sure.
So it turns out I had a half sister that lived in New York, this whole other side of the family I did not know.
That's crazy.
Her daughter, the half niece, who's older than me, by the way, her daughter was graduating USC later that year. So they're out in LA for the graduation. I meet up with them. So I'm meeting this, and I get to meet my half sister.
Yeah.
Right? Craziest shit ever. So here's the weird part.
Here's the weird part.
Yeah. I'm left-handed. Nobody else is left-handed. None of my kids, no one in my family's left-handed. I go to this thing where I meet my half-sister. Left-handed people immediately can see other left-handed people. I look, I go, fucking left-handed.
It's because you guys don't know how to get out of the car.
Yeah.
So you're like,
She's left-handed.
The checks are all smeared.
Yeah. And a lot of her grandkids are all left-handed.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And so am I.
Yeah.
And then it's like I meet this side of my family, and a lot of the mannerisms and the way they act, I've always been the black sheep. I'm always the weirdo compared to everyone else in my family. I'm just like them.
Yeah.
And
they always have these deep, rich voices.
Maybe. But it was just the craziest thing, and it was all just because of stupid ancestry.
That's awesome.
That's kind of exciting, though.
Yeah.
And, because, especially as I get a bit older, family becomes more and more, important.
Yeah.
And it's cool that yours is sort of, opened up and gotten bigger. That's pretty rad.
Yeah, and this was 2019, I think this all went down.
Oh, wow.
And we've all stayed in touch since. Now, my half sister adore. She's passed away since.
Oh,
Because again, they're way older than me. She was like 75.
oh, wow.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
Wow.
Like I said, my oldest sister right now, I think she's 77.
That's wild. That's older
They're
than
older than my
parents.
mom. That's funny.
Yeah, older than my mom
I have
too, yeah.
sisters that are older than my mom, which is crazy.
Yeah.
My mom's passed away now too, but yeah, it's just nuts to have this whole side of my family that I didn't know.
What? So are you keeping in touch with them?
Yeah,
Are you
we stay in
talking?
touch now.
Yeah,
we
okay.
stay in
Nice.
touch now. And then my quote unquote real sister, my full sister, she's been pulled in now. So it turns out they were both in the same sorority and were in the same places at the same time
Just
and didn't know.
Wow.
Oh, that's
crazy.
sad.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
a
yeah.
bummer.
But hey, it's family.
Nick
We're all
wishes he
together
could be
now.
in the same place as his brother and not know it.
Yeah.
There's no way I would not know
Yeah.
if I was in
Yeah.
the same place
Yeah.
as Matt Scarpino.
Yeah. Yeah.
I could hear him coming from a mile away.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The amount of times Jen, who's been working with him recently, has been like, "Oh, Matt's so great at this." I'm just be careful. It's a slippery slope with
It's
Matt
a
Scarpino.
slippery
You
slope.
don't know what you're gonna get.
But the funniest part of all that, though,
Yeah.
I didn't mean to cut you off, but
No.
the funniest part of all that was Danny was there
Mm-hmm.
when I'm meeting this niece of mine, and he's just watching all this. He goes, "This is the craziest shit I've ever seen."
That sounds like Danny.
Yeah.
That sounds like the commentary Danny would. What's up, everybody? Welcome, like I said, to the Kind of Funny podcast. Each and every week, 4, sometimes 5 or 3 best friends gather on this table, coming to hang out with each other and talk about whatever it is they or you want to talk about. If you love that and want to support us, we'd love you to pick up the Kind of Funny membership. Of course, $10 gets you all of our content ad-free. That's more than 20 shows a week. It gets you the ability, of course, to watch afternoon podcasts just like this, live as you record them, just like Unique Technique is, Alex J. Sandoval is, and Big Head Isaac is. Of course, it would also
Man,
get you a
what's
daily
the
dose
story
of-
behind that one?
Big Head Isaac, you have time to, I want you to fire it off in the chat. I mean, I would guess you have a really big head.
Massive
And that's
head.
what you got to adapt to.
Yeah.
When I was like when I first started going to grade school, kids called me Mole.
Did you want them to call you
No,
Mole?
I had a mole behind my
Did you
ear.
insist that they
I
call
had a
you
big,
Mole?
I still have like, a mole here or whatever, but I had a
Yeah.
mole behind my ear, and then I had 2 little guys up here or whatever.
Oh.
And so like when this got taken away, it was like a weight off my shoulders, but because kids would slowly, and again, this is just the bully of the school. It
Yeah.
wasn't like everybody.
Th-
But
that's-
I
yeah.
had 2 choices. I could have leaned in and been like, I'm fucking Mole, that's right. Or I could cry, and I cried. That's what I did.
No, you probably did the right one though. You don't want Mole sticking with you for the rest of your life.
It's not a
exactly-
bad one. Yeah,
it's not in term of endearment
in
though.
summer camp, another kid, and he did this because we were friends, called me Spud. And I always like Spud as a nickname.
Spud.
And now we've taken it to the next generation.
Oh.
Because the story goes when Ben was a little baby.
Yeah, you call him Spud.
And he was waking up from a nap. And I mean like baby, no talking, can barely move.
Mm-hmm.
In my brand new dad wisdom, I threw open the door and went, "What's up, Spud?" He just burst into tears.
Yeah.
Just burst into
Yeah,
tears.
you're terrifying.
And I go, "Everything came on. I forget your little baby."
Yeah.
And so then now he's 3 years old. I told him this story the other day in his
Mm-hmm.
chair when we were hanging out. I was reading a book. I forget how we got on the subject or whatever. And he looked at me and he goes, "Can you start calling me Spud?" And I was like, "Yeah, I can, Spud." He said he wants me to open the door and
That's
throw
a
it
good
open.
door. Yeah, that's a good Spud.
It's a good name.
Yeah.
Spud's a good nickname.
Spud's a great name.
We're waiting on Big Head Isaac still though. So Big Head Isaac. Oh, there he is. Large head. I mean, he didn't give much on it. Just yeah.
Isaac, when we asked you to like go off in the chat, 2 words, not what I, not what I assume.
Your mom.
Elaborate a little
Did
bit.
your mom start calling you Big
Do
Head
you
Isaac?
come from a family of big head
Wait,
people?
was the head so big that like you're catching volleyballs to the dome left and right in gym
Yeah,
class, and
I
they
mean-
started? Like, what's going on?
How big are we talking? Like Mars Attacks big? What are we talking here?
Yeah, is there something wrong with your body where your body's just really small and that it makes the head? even
Have
bigger?
you measured your head against other people's heads, and it's the same size head, but your body's too small? That's the real question.
Jameson S says, wasn't Spud the name of a dog in a Budweiser
Spud
Super Bowl
McKenzie.
commercial? First off, show some respect. He was in way more than one commercial. It was Spud's McKenzie.
World's
Kind of looked
ugliest
like
dog.
a Target dog, but now he's different.
Yeah.
People love Spud. My problem, if anything, is I was too young to enjoy beer ads, but I remember Spud being cool. But you remember this. This is right around the time Joe Camel was super fucking cool too.
Still
And
cool.
then look what happens. The government steps in and says you can't use a
Smoking's
cartoon
bad
camel.
for you,
A
apparently
cartoon
now.
camel can't be fucking awesome
Yeah.
and encourage people
God,
to
he was
smoke.
cool. Anything cooler than a fucking camel that smokes cigarettes? It's so rad.
Remember that?
The tiger that
They
drinks
had the
beer.
rewards program.
Yeah, I used camel bucks.
You get past the government warning, and there was a camel buck you could mail in.
Yeah,
a
they were
Marlboro.
smart. They weren't stupid. They were like, get past that warning and rip
That
that
was
buck
smart
off.
as hell. You know
God,
what I
I
mean?
love
Don't
cigarettes.
smoke, kids, but if you have to, do it
Do
with the
not.
cartoon camel.
Don't
you know?
start vaping at 45 either.
So you bring up Spuds McKenzie, so
Yeah.
I'm filled with useless knowledge.
Sure.
So
Start
the
with-
dog breed that he is, what it was when it first started to what it is now, it's basically due to all the inbreeding is pretty much a deformity.
Oh, jeez. Oh.
Like,
Yeah,
if you see that
He
breed
doesn't
of
look
dog,
healthy.
He doesn't look
like
right.
in the 1920s or 30s,
Yeah.
almost looks completely different to what it is now.
Yeah.
Go look that up.
It's the same with the French bulldog, right? Where you
Yeah,
look at the
yeah,
French
that's
bulldog,
another
like,
one,
that's
too.
not normal.
English bulldog.
That does
yeah,
not.
yeah.
Yeah, that's not supposed to be naturally occurring.
Kevin, when you can't give me a Spuds McKenzie photo for people who don't know what we're talking about because maybe they were born in this decade. Of course, like I said, all that stuff, that's patreon.com/kindafunny, youtube.com/kindafunnygames, and now, of course, Apple and Spotify. That's right. You can support us wherever you want to get us. There he is. Look at this guy. Look at that fucking dog
Look at
right
that
there.
badass. That's what a badass looks like. You
And
ask
like this is
yourself.
when they weren't afraid. Go back to that one with that giant beer. That just screams like we're at a college party. And Spuds McKenzie, the original party animal. I'm sick of us dressing up beer. I'm drinking it to get wasted. All right, let's get lit and have
This
a good
is not
time.
good beer, but
Yeah, I
it gets
know.
you drunk for cheap.
Yeah,
Look at-
exactly.
this is what I always remember. It was always Spud with like 3 very good looking women around him in
Yeah.
various states of undress. There it is. There's another one.
I mean, Spud knew it was up. You know what I mean?
Spud's not fucking around.
Look at that. He's delivering. Is that his ghost
I think
delivering
he's
beer?
taking the beer from the guy. Spud's dead, but he still likes to party.
Like this looks like how you made your thing, like your Doritos commercial. Spud McKenzie triumphantly returns in Bud Light Super Bowl. I missed that. I missed that one. I need to go back.
Well,
and
you gotta
catch
start
that.
watching the Super Bowl.
Apparently I do. Of course, you can get the show for free. YouTube.com/kindafunnygames, Spotify, Apple, and every other podcast under the sun. You'd have to sit through the ads, and you want to be supporting an 11-person business monetarily. But hey, like, subscribe, share, leave a review, all that jazz, so we can find new friends. And if you're looking for another way to support housekeeping, a lot of you have made comments about loving the anniversary logo and the water bottle / notebook we got for the team. So the new anniversary merch collection is now up at kindafunny.com/store. That's right. If you want a water bottle that looks similar to this, if you want a t-shirt with the logo I have tattooed on my arm, you can go to kindafunny.com/store. What?
Oh, I didn't say anything. I was just
Yeah, I
adjusting my
noticed what you
shirt.
done. You made a water bottle reference too when you were during the games
you did-
cast, and
you
it
did
came
ca-
up.
you
I
did
noticed
catch
what's
it.
up. Kindafunny.com/store. That's a bull terrier, and you're right. It does not look the same.
Yeah, yeah. So you know what I mean?
Bull
Look
Terrier
at
was
that head,
great.
man.
That's a handsome dog.
The
That's one
bull
of the-
terrier that is Spuds McKenzie here looks like he's Alec Baldwin, halfway between being normal Alec Baldwin and pulling
Beetlejuice.
himself out.
Yeah,
Beetlejuice.
it
Yeah,
looks like Beetlejuice
Yeah,
and
I
Alec
don't
Baldwin
like
for
that one
sure.
bit. I'm not a fan
For
of
sure.
that. Thank you to our Patreon producers, James Hastings, Casey Andrew, and Nathan Lamoth. Today we're brought to you by BetterHelp, ExpressVPN, and MeUndies, but we'll talk about that a little bit later. For now, we'll begin with what the show is. The show.
I didn't know.
You said 5 years. No, I just made that up.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
brand
okay,
new.
I was
That's
like,
brand
wait,
new.
I
Don't
don't
worry
Just
about
go
it.
with anything.
This is where we try it all out. You know what I mean?
I was saying before we started the show, Parris, that you're really getting both ends of the extremes.
Yes.
With Kind of Funny today. Okay. Because I come in and I see this beautiful 8-man podcast. I mean, and Barrett and all the guys, they've been producing this for weeks at this point, and now you're ending your day with maybe Tim's on the podcast, maybe he's not. I thought that was
Roger
fun.
got busy. He's
Yeah,
got to
he's
go
not
away.
coming out here.
Oh man,
But it's fun.
Asher in the chat got me. Does he look like Alec Baldwin, or does Alec Baldwin look like him? In referring to Spuds McKenzie,
Maybe
got
that
me.
was the inspiration.
Maybe it was. Maybe it
don't
was. So Parris,
Yes.
you said 5 years ago you wanted to talk about wrestling.
Mhm.
Of course, we're in the new era of WWE on Netflix. You were there for the premiere.
Yes,
Was it on Netflix?
It was. Where we need to start is you and me once again guilting Nick Scarpino into watching
So
wrestling.
I watched the first 45 minutes of this.
That's gonna be rough.
And then when The Rock was done talking,
Yeah.
I was like, I'm just going to stop watching this.
Yeah,
It's too
yeah,
much.
yeah,
It's
I
3 hours
understand.
long.
I understand.
I mean,
There's-
not just Alec Baldwin. It was Alec Baldwin and Beetlejuice. I digress.
Still kind of looks like Spuds McKenzie right now.
Jesus, guy, he's got pink eye. Fun. Still hasn't grabbed me. I do like the fact that every 5 words they did say this was Raw on
Dude,
Netflix.
okay, again, I sounded this wasn't, and I understand. We thought I don't know how it
Just
was
so
in the
you
building.
know.
I feel like we were sold something different than what we got. Where
In
it
what
was,
way?
this is going to be on the level of a PLE, a
Yeah,
premium
yeah,
live
yeah.
event. It's
Yeah.
going to be this big thing. It's going to be WrestleMania on a Monday, and we got there, and it was not that.
No, it
It's a
wasn't.
fine episode of Raw, a little too talky, maybe a little too,
Mm-hmm.
hey, there's that Netflix executives in the skybox or whatever. I can understand. This wouldn't have been where we should have started you, and I apologize. We were sold a bum good of sales.
That-
No, even in the building. I mean, we walked in thinking this was going to be not WrestleMania, but something like the Rumble or Money in the Bank or something like that, where it's going to be huge. And we got 4 matches and a lot of we're on Netflix.
Yeah.
You know,
I I want to like wrestling now. I've turned a corner where I'm like, why am I not into this? Because I have so many touchstones for it, right? I have so many points of reference for throughout the years of the 80s and the 90s. I've had friends like you, my friend Scott, who was super into it. He was always the guy that would sit me down with the N64 wrestling game and then beat my ass. And I'm like, well, no wonder I don't want to play. So I know it all and I like it all. And when you explain to me the history of it, like when I watch documentaries of it, I'm like, I'm riveted by this. I think it is fascinating. I think the story behind the scenes is obviously marred with controversy, but still fascinating. The development.
I mean, arguably probably more interesting than what's happening in the ring.
I mean, yes.
You watched Mr. McMahon?
Yeah, I did. I watched Mr. McMahon recently, and I was me and my wife Dee, who knows absolutely nothing about wrestling and couldn't care less, was riveted by this. And obviously, as it goes farther and farther and darker, it becomes very sad. But taking out the McMahon controversy stuff, the formation of the WWE, the F at the time, him taking over the territories, him growing this brand because he had this incredible global vision. All that stuff is rad. And then backing that up with the melodrama and the sheer, I guess the thing that draws me in is the sheer creativity of the Gonzo, anything can go, super fun. And literally to the point where it was not last night and I was blading through some stuff. I think it was on Netflix. And the Ric Flair documentary popped up. And I was like, babe, we should watch that next. She goes, why? Who's he? And I was like, oh, he was this great heel and everyone loved working with him because he always made you look good. And then she's like, did he do a lot of cocaine? I'm like, probably. They all did a lot of cocaine, but that's what was fun about the 90s.
Did you watch the documentary?
I've watched it before, but I might watch it again with her. That's a good one.
It's a great doc. Yeah, it's a great one.
Yeah, it is.
My favorite point is where they're building about like he goes to AA and then he fails out and he comes and they're building to that. I haven't touched a drop and he's like, no, I drink every day still. I'm like, oh shit, fuck. Should we be celebrating this way? I don't know if we should be celebrating like this.
He's a badass.
Yeah,
dude.
he's fucking insane.
Come on.
He is to me. Well, to answer your question first, my thing, and I don't know about your lineage with wrestling, Greg.
I'm assuming you're really into wrestling if he's asking.
But it's like I'm from St. Petersburg, Florida, so I grew up Florida Championship Wrestling, Georgia Championship Wrestling. You know, talking Dusty, early '80s. So they would always go to the Bayfront Center or the Armory over in Tampa. So you're talking like Gordon Soley was the announcer back then.
How did you? Okay, so dial it back though, because for me, this is what's wild to me. I didn't realize that wrestling was a local thing until well into Kind of Funny. When you were like, "Oh, I'm going to this local promotion," I was like, "For what?" And you're like, "Oh, this." I don't think it was AEW.
It was APW.
APW. And I was like, "What's that?" And you're like, "Oh," and you had to kind of explain to me, like, "Oh, well, everything starts small, and then gets bigger and bigger, and these are like feeder into." And I was like, "Oh, I guess that makes sense."
Minor leagues.
Minor leagues. So what made you start going to that in the first place?
Well, again, it was just who I grew up with. Like,
so all your friends were just like, "We're doing this thing."
We'd all go. It was like a fun thing to do on a Friday or Saturday.
I mean, it sounds
night.
like a blast. We didn't have that in Riverside,
California.
Strictly
from a historical perspective, right? Because the burbs of Chicago, and I'm younger by a bit. Like for Florida, you think about when you're talking about what television is, and you're at the onset of cable television, probably before it even. And so it was more of a, well, there's 3 channels, so let's go to a live event. Let's go to the thing. And wrestling's always happening.
Yeah,
on the
let's
weekends
go see the
usually.
thing we're watching on TV.
Oh, okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
So like a local television.
Yeah,
like,
so you go out there.
I had kayfabe broken for me as a kid. God, it was.
You know kayfabe, yes?
Yes.
Okay, so make sure that you remember.
I'm trying to remember
and if
the
you
second
don't, everybody,
guy.
of course, it's the storyline that's happening inside the ring, happening outside of the ring. So good guys only riding with good guys. You wouldn't see 2 people who fought in the main event the night before having dinner the next night.
I saw Ronnie Garvin and Manny Fernandez, who were feuding at the time, hated each other. We went back, whatever, at the arena, and we're wound up. I guess we're kind of semi backstage, and they were standing together, hanging out, having a good old time.
You hate that,
and it literally killed me. I go, wait. You're not supposed to be friends.
I forget who put it to me. Then I was like, this is one of the things that maybe it was in the last documentary, or maybe it was one of my friends I was talking to, because some of the guys I work out with loved it, and they watched it at the gym. But they were talking about kayfabe, not kayfab, and they were like, yeah. So if you're like out to dinner with someone and someone sees you say the word, and then you just have to start the beef up, right? Like that's the concept, and I think that to me is so fucking wacky that it might just be brilliant. It's so wild that I'm like, oh, you're all now in on the joke, and it's like doing D&D, where you're like, you're all building this narrative together. And if you're not, like one of my buddies, Riley, who was one of my coaches, he's like, you don't understand, like there's forums for if shit doesn't make sense narratively, people on the forums will get together and try to explain why that makes sense
Yeah.
so that everyone can just believe in this fun shared narrative. And I'm like, well, that's kind of a beautiful thing if you think about it, especially when that's happened for 4 decades.
Oh yeah, but see, that's what made Ric Flair so, like, to me, he's the greatest wrestler of all time because he could do everything at a high level. Was, for better or worse, obviously watching the documentary, he lived the gimmick. So the things that he was talking about, he was doing it in real life. So you're just like, man, this is the man right here, you know? But
I know a guy's got pizzazz.
yeah.
When you're seeing my wife sees him for 1 second, she's like, who the fuck is that guy? He's got the robes, he's got the boas, the bleach blonde hair, the just crazy look at his eye. And I'm like, babe, if I could channel 20% of that for like my comedy career, my podcasting career, fuck, we'd be superstars. This guy was just a fucking superstar.
He was a superstar, yeah, and that was the thing. Again, the territories and running around those places, right? Like,
when did he come to WWF?
That was the early 90s, right?
Yeah, like 91, 92.
Yeah, he
like
obviously he gets bought up when WCW he's doing the territories. WCW comes the thing. He goes there, then eventually comes to WWE, but doesn't make the impact he wants there and goes back to WCW.
Okay.
And this is like all in the upright, him in his lineage, or not lineage, his legacy, I should say, and what he's becoming and what he is, obviously, to this day.
Which, to this day, the biggest money match that got left on the table would have been, I guess that would have been 92 Mania, was him and Hogan. And whatever contract nonsense happened and he left. Because remember, he was feuding with Macho. He won the Rumble. He won the title. Supposed to come back around. It was going to be him and Hogan at that Mania. Something happened and Flair wound up leaving and it didn't go down. But they did have a dark match. I want to say like San Jose or something.
Yeah.
Like if you go on YouTube, you can find it. The crowd was insane.
Of course they were, yeah.
For that.
Yeah.
Because they were the 2 biggest guys in wrestling at that point.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
that was.
rad.
I mean, Ric Flair when he comes to WWF back in the day, right? Like, yeah, his first major feud that I remember, at least the one that seared Ric Flair as like the ultimate villain to me, was when he stole Miss Elizabeth from Macho Man. Like WWE magazine had like a spread of like him at like his palatial estate in Georgia, and like him and Miss Elizabeth. Like it was like. I was too young to get it, but it definitely was like all these pangs of indecent proposal.
Oh, yeah.
Of like them like grooming his horse and shit or whatever, and Macho Man being all pissed off about it or whatever.
This is so ridiculous.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
ridiculous.
In the chat, we have a couple super chats already, which is rare. Thank you for them, of course. Bam says, of course, Parris. That's the super chat. They're just excited to see Parris. I love that. But Bam says, what is Nick like? If it's the spectacle WWE might be for him. Now, in ring work, AEW, just not the world title scene, JK, and New Japan Pro Wrestling, too. You're going to want the storylines. You're going to want the pomp and circumstance. Yeah?
I imagine so. I think that's
Because if
the
you want
hardest
the athleticism, I feel like that's your UFC is filling and checking that box.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But, I mean, there are some amazing things that happen in the ring that you just, like, if someone did in the UFC, it'd be fucking crazy to do.
Oh, for sure.
But no, I think overall, I don't really have, I don't know that I have an entry point yet. I'm fascinated by the history of it. I've been going down a long, like, rabbit hole of history with, like, companies and things like that. And then watching this documentary, I was like, oh, man, they should do, like, just deep dives into stuff like this. Amazing. Because anything that became, like, $1 billion business is going to be fascinating. And so I think to me, it's more just the history right now. I try to watch the storylines, but I think to me and I don't mean this to sound insulting, but to me, it's just an oversimplification of emotions that I'm not quite vibing with yet.
Sure.
Right? It's if someone's mad, they're fucking raging. If they're in love, they're in love. And there's no real nuance because that's not what this is about. This is about, playing to the strengths of the audience and just going in there and then having fun and doing a good match. So I think I need to watch a little bit more of it. But the more I learn about this stuff, the more I'm just fascinated by it in general.
I feel like the match I know you didn't even get to matches on Netflix Raw, but if you would have watched watch the package beforehand for Liv Morgan, Rhea Ripley, I think that could have gotten you.
Okay.
There's a lot of fun stuff there with Dirty Dom being so horrible and the story of how it all got to be and why they're in this weird lovers feud.
Yeah, I watched like maybe 5 minutes of the Roman Reigns fight.
Okay, yeah.
And then
that was a slow
but I didn't even get
build,
to the
too.
point. I didn't even get to the point, spoilers, where Rhodes came in. And
Yeah,
did all that
yeah,
stuff.
yeah.
And my buddy's like, "Did you see what Cody Rhodes did?" I was like, "I stopped watching."
I was bored out of my mind and I stopped.
Sorry.
It's funny that you're saying that, like looking for that entry point. So I took my son to this Raw. So that was the first wrestling in person he's ever gone to. So you know how I got him into wrestling, and it's been fascinating over the past few years. One day I was just casually talking about I was like, oh yeah, the Undertaker almost killed Mick Foley, and he was like, wait, what? I was like, yeah. He threw him off the top of the ring, and he almost died. And he was like, no, that didn't happen. So I literally pull up the match, and he's watching it. Just he could not believe it that was happened. So then that tangented off into this whole thing with Mick Foley and Cactus Jack and Mankind, and just how nuts that dude was in the 90s. And
Just a badass.
And then it was, ironically enough, it was like the bloodline stuff with Roman. And I was explaining to him how Roman was so hated because Vince tried to force him down everyone's throat, but he persevered over it. And he's just arguably the most over guy in wrestling we've seen in 20 years.
For sure. Yeah. See, the problem with Nick and trying to get into wrestling is we've tried, and what my go-to always is, this is last year, I remember having a lunch with Anna Sale from Death, Sex, and Money, and she mentioned, oh, you're doing stuff with WWE, and I'm like, yeah, explain more. She's like, I've never gotten into it. I'm like, to get into it, you have to go. And I'm like, because it's a shared delusion. When you go there and you give yourself to it, and you know you're going to cheer and you're going to boo based on what the thing is, and pop and chant and do all this stuff and act like the headlock into a count could actually be a 3 when there's no. When you give yourself into the shared delusion of it all, I think is when it works the best. But we've dragged you to so many shows.
I've been, yeah. I think it just has to be one of those things, like a good band.
Yeah.
That when the song hits you, it hits you, and you're like, nah, I'm a fan for life. I always tell the story of I never even gave a shit about Led Zeppelin until one day I was driving home from the Irvine Spectrum, and I heard this song on the radio. I was like, God, that's a good fucking song.
Who is this?
Who is that? And I went to a Virgin America store, or Virgin
Records?
Virgin Records, yeah. And I walked in, and I was like, hey, man, this is going to sound crazy. This is pre-Shazam. This is talking
pre-Shazam. Was everybody to say pre-Shazam?
Pre-Shazam. It was pre-apps, whatever. And I walk in and I was like, hey, man, this is going to sound weird, but I just heard this song on the radio. And it goes like, bum, ba, 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 bum, ba, bum, ba.
Oh, God.
And the guy's like,
he's like, it's the Immigrant Song. Shut up.
It's the Immigrant Song by Led Zeppelin. They have a best of on aisle 3 or whatever. And I bought that. And I was like, now I get it, right? It has to hit you in the right way. And so I was like, oh, I'll start watching. I'll try this on Netflix because it's right there and it looks pretty. And I just watched the documentary and stuff like that. So we'll see.
Nope.
The door's open.
Yeah, I appreciate you're receptive.
I'm definitely open to it. Because before I used to do the thing where I think I didn't get it, so I'd shit on it.
Yeah.
And then I turned a corner with that where I'm like, well, and this is a maturity thing for me, which is weird this late in my life. But yes, you continue to grow for everyone who's out there. I'm like, oh, don't shit on things because you don't understand them, obviously, right? Yeah. And don't also, I would be like, I'm going to add to this conversation by shitting on it. That's not fun for you guys because you guys like it. So why would I do that? So I'm like, I'm going to take myself out of it. Because you guys are like, stick around for Netflix. I don't want to fucking ruin this for you, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, this is so boring, whatever. So I left. So I'm gonna try watching it on my own.
Yeah, that's the best way.
With some hard candies, for the originals or whatever.
Yeah.
Take my cane, walk over to the TV, turn it on, and then go from there. We'll see what happens.
We're going to kick it over to ads, but then I want to come back in and get a mustache update from you, okay, Nick? But for right now, I'll remind you, of course, this is the Kind of Funny podcast. You can get it each and every week ad-free if you have the Kind of Funny membership. $10 gets you all the 20-plus shows we do at Kind of Funny ad-free, the ability to watch shows just like this one as we record it in the afternoon, and, of course, your daily dose of me in a series I call Greg White. But right now, you're not using your benefits that you can pick up on patreon.com/kindoffunny, of course, youtube.com/kindoffunnygames, or Apple or Spotify. I got Spuds. I still had Spuds on the mind for some reason. Spudsify. Yes. Spotify. So here's a word from our sponsor.
Kind of Funny's Game of the Year 2024 is brought to you by NVIDIA. It's undeniable that 2024 was a great year for gaming, and we saw a ton of innovation and honestly, mind-blowing advancement in graphics. Our friends over at NVIDIA GeForce had a hand in that, and we're not just looking back, we are looking forward with them. This past year, we were treated to a stellar PC adaptation of Horizon Forbidden West, and NVIDIA made sure that the burden that came with advanced PC graphics was imperceptible, thanks to DLSS 3 in-game keeping those frame rates high. How many of you took on Rook's journey in Dragon Age the Veilguard? The ray-traced reflection and ambient light in this game are a joy to experience, and again, all made possible from BioWare's partnership with NVIDIA and DLSS 3. And as always, top of mind for us is Black Myth Wukong, a game we really liked here at Kind of Funny, and with realistic full ray tracing bringing out the highest level details, NVIDIA DLSS 3 wrapped it all up in an immersive boss battle showcase. And with NVIDIA's new GeForce RTX 50 series cards coming soon, Black Myth Wukong is one of several titles coming up in 2025 that will benefit from DLSS 4. NVIDIA's newest AI-powered graphics booster, creating insane frame rates for what will be some of the most demanding games ever published. Stay with us throughout the year and we'll keep you updated on all of it. This episode's brought to you by MeUndies. At some point in our illustrious love lives, we've all asked our partner the same age-old question that guys have probably been asking for thousands of years. Am I big? While MeUndies doesn't know the actual answer to that, or if your partner gave you the actual truth, this Valentine's Day, they can help you look huge with their contoured pouch and ball caddy. Choose from tons of awesome Valentine's Day prints and styles and match undies with your special someone for an extra special holiday treat. From all black classics to fun, expressive prints, MeUndies has a look for everyone. Y'all know I love MeUndies. All my black t-shirts are MeUndies, including this one I'm wearing right now. Try MeUndies out, and if you're not happy with your first pair of undies, it's on MeUndies. This Valentine's Day, good things come in big packages at MeUndies. Get 20% off your first order plus free shipping at MeUndies.com/kindafunny. That's MeUndies.com/kindafunny for 20% off plus free shipping. MeUndies, comfort from the outside in. This episode's brought to you by ExpressVPN. Going online without ExpressVPN is like not closing the door when you use the bathroom. Even if you think you have nothing to hide, why give random creeps a chance to invade your privacy? Internet service providers, including mobile network providers, know every single website you visit. ExpressVPN reroutes 100% of your traffic through secure encrypted servers, so your ISP can't see your browsing history. It hides your IP address, so it's even harder for third parties to track your online life. It's so easy to use. You just fire up the app and one click gets you protection, and it also works on phones, laptops, and more. I use ExpressVPN everywhere because it gives me so much peace of mind that I can explore the internet safely. Protect your online privacy today by visiting expressvpn.com/kindafunny. That's EXPRESSVPN.com/kindafunny, and you can get an extra 4 months free. expressvpn.com/kindafunny for an extra 4 months free. This episode's brought to you by BetterHelp. What do you want your 2025 story to be? Every January brings you 365 blank pages waiting to be filled in. In 2025, maybe you're ready for a plot twist, or maybe there's part of your story you've been wanting to revise. Life isn't about resolutions that fade by February. It's about picking up the pen and becoming the author of your own life. Think of therapy as your editorial partner, helping you write new chapters and create the meaningful story you deserve to live. Some of my best friends use BetterHelp and love how helpful it can be for learning positive coping skills and how to set boundaries. If you're thinking of starting therapy, give BetterHelp a try. It's entirely online, designed to be convenient, flexible, and suited to your schedule. And it serves over 5 million people worldwide. Write your story with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/kindafunny to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/kindafunny. BetterHelp.com/kindafunny.
Nicholas,
Yes.
the mustache
Yeah.
is dynamite.
Thank you.
Where are we at though with it? I don't have, is this just your normal beard growth a week and a
No,
day
I
in?
trimmed it down
Yes.
over the weekend.
Yes.
Because I had to take a passport photo.
Awesome.
And I was like, what's the least offensive thing that I could be presenting to a customs agent in another country?
Yeah.
And so Dee was like, why don't you, she's like, it looks really nice when you shaved it down a little bit. Did that. I don't know. There's no plan. I'm going to keep it. It's been a interesting journey walking through the world of San Francisco comedians with this mustache. I've come to the conclusion
Because at
that
this point, the places you're going to do comedy, you're known by the other comedians. You're part of the scene. You're part of the group. They know you. So it's not like anybody's like, oh, that looks normal.
yeah. And you walk in and people go, whoa. And you go, oh shit, right, I have a mustache. You forget, right? I've gotten used to it and I like it and I like seeing my chin again. And so I think for me, it's normal now. So I'm gonna rock it for a little while. And then I think if I get tired of it, I'm gonna trim it down and just see. I've been watching a lot of The Bookie on Amazon, not Amazon, HBO Max, Sebastian Maniscalco's show. It's fun. It's silly, very, very easily consumable. Highly recommend if you guys want to just sit and zone out and laugh a little bit. But he has like the stereotypical Italian like face. And you could tell he'd look really good with a beard, but he shaves it all down. And I'm like, oh, I kind of miss my upper lip. So maybe one of these days I'll go down to that, look at it, and then grow it all back out. But
see, as jarring as the mustache was, seeing your upper lip,
That's gonna
tilt
people
the
in
universe.
pants.
That's gonna
That'll
tilt the universe. I don't know about that.
So maybe we'll slow play. But I'm enjoying the change. It's nice to kind of change it up and mix it up a little. And I think I came to the conclusion that people who, it's a mixed bag, but I think for the most part, people who can't grow a mustache really like it. So I've noticed that a lot of the Gen Z younger comics that are like guys, oh, it looks really good, man. I was like, you have no facial hair whatsoever. Like you're one of those people that has zero body hair, so of course you like it. I've gotten mixed results from everyone else though, including my wife, who I don't think still doesn't like it.
Yeah,
that
that's
much.
crazy.
But you know what? What do you?
Jen
gonna
couldn't
do?
believe it.
Did she like it?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, Jen only ogles the kind of funny guys. You know what I mean? Like this mustache.
One of the perks of working here.
shot you up the ranks.
Yeah,
So
no.
she was like, "Oh my
Good, I
god,
like it.
this is looking good." Paris, where's your mustache? When you grow a mustache?
You know, I grew one back in 2021 just for the hell of it.
Oh, I vaguely remember this. I think.
And then I just shaved it one day and I've just not grown it back.
yeah,
You look
should
good
do it.
cleanly
I should
shaven,
do it.
though.
you should. Yeah.
How thick of a beard can you get?
It's not great. My beard's not great.
See, this is
Yeah.
like you look. See,
I can't get the whole attachment that goes.
Yeah.
It never works right.
Don't do
See,
it. Yeah.
Now I'm all gray now too, so I just.
Yeah, but you look so good. You look so good with a shaved head.
Sure.
Well, it's not by choice. I'll tell you that.
No, I know, but I'm going that way, and and eventually I just thank God I can grow the beard because I don't think my head shape is very nice for a shaved head. I've been there.
Yeah, you've
I
done
didn't
that.
look
You've
great.
done that. Yeah,
Didn't look
yeah,
good.
yeah.
My forehead gets really big.
Yeah.
But I'm loving it so far, man. Are you gonna do it?
What, mustache?
Yeah.
No.
You looked great with a mustache.
I looked fine. It was fun, weird. But no, I'm not gonna do it.
You're gonna keep the beard. How long do you realistically think you keep the beard for? Because this is.
I mean,
what
I don't think I'll ever stop at this point.
You think you're just gonna have a beard for the
I mean,
rest of your life?
it's you never say never, kind of never say forever, I guess, kind of thing. But it's like I look so much better than I did when I was clean shaven. If suddenly I dropped 150 pounds, maybe then then I'd have to know what it looks like. But
Sure.
every time, even for the Kind of Funny Day on the 10th anniversary, looking back at the thing, so many people are like, "Oh my god, babyface Greg!" It's like,
Yeah.
you look back at what it looked like, it's just like, nah, this is a much better look.
I just
for
remember
me.
the one time you had the scruff with the mustache.
Yeah,
and you looked
after
like Commissioner Gordon.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
so
yeah. It
fucking
was
cool.
good. It was this exact look where it was like the 5 o'clock shadow.
That's what
and-
inspired me to do it. I was like, Greg
Yeah.
looked good. Maybe I'll look good. We'll see what happens.
I was talking to somebody for an upcoming opportunity, and some of the inspiration photos they sent over. One was from Batman '89, Eckert, who you probably think of as like Bullock from
Think of the Future.
Yeah, but like just big fat guy in a trench coat with the mustache and the 5 o'clock shadow. I was like, I'll do it if you need me to do it for the thing. But
Yes, yeah.
so maybe you'll see it sooner than later. Who knows? But
That'd be
yeah,
cool.
we'll see what's up.
Maybe
with
we all turn over to mustaches, and then Tim's the only one left with a beard, and we dunk on him.
it. Dude, this guy sucks. He just sucks.
Every time, I'm like, how do you have this many cool blazers? Like, what are you doing?
And the problem I
Where are
have
you
with the
getting
cool
them?
blazers is like Smileys on Friday. Bless is like, we should dress up. Everybody dress up. It's gonna be the Smileys. It's this thing. And I was like, oh, okay, clearly that'll carry over to Game of the Year, the biggest award. And I got here today. I was in sweatshirt. I brought my suit. I was like, I'm not putting
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
it on.
No.
And at the last second, Tim tossed his coat on. I'm like, I'm also not putting it on now for you, Tim. But it's like, you know what I mean? Like, what are we doing here?
I love that you all looked like different variants of people who wear blazers.
Yeah.
Because like Tim looked like he was going to like an Emmys party. You looked good. Mike looked like he was running security for like a low-level senator. Like he just looked like he was. He just looked like he was like a
Kev,
security
can you
at a bank
toss up
somewhere.
the Gamescast from Friday, the Smileys with just one of the wide shots of us all at the
Yeah,
desk?
give me
Thank
one
you so
second.
much. Yeah, no rush.
But everyone looked good.
Yeah, they all look good. It's nice to dress up once in a while. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? People take that as they want to and do whatever they want with it. What was off-putting and scary, and I mentioned this on the air, but I know you didn't watch the whole show or
No,
whatever.
I tried.
When you go through and see this, yeah, we all look good. We all did this, but somehow we all dressed like one other person, and we all sat next to that person.
Oh yeah.
So it's the thing is like this is not planned at all, but it literally is that we all look like palette swaps of the person you're next to,
Whoa.
and nobody noticed it till halfway through the show. I started giggling,
I gotta
as
see
one
this.
does
I
with
gotta see
the
this.
acute eye I have. Kev's pulling it up. Don't worry about it. And I was like, wait a second, we are all just palette swaps of each other. So like, yeah, here's the opening, obviously, and then we'll get why. But look. You got Bless and Tim in the blazer with the
Yes,
chain
they look
combo.
like- that's
Me and
amazing.
Mike in the blazer with no shirt, no t-shirt underneath. Then Andy and Raj with the blazer and the collar shirt.
I mean, you all could have mixed that up just a little
We
bit.
just didn't know. It just
Yeah.
all. I think this might look at my face. This might even be when I realize. Who knows? I'm having a good time out there
That's
staring at the
amazing.
screen or whatever. It's crazy how
y'all
that
look good, though.
happens.
Y'all look good. I'm proud of you guys for occasionally going the extra mile and dressing up and
Thank
having
you. I
some fun there.
appreciate that. We'll never do it on this show.
I do think it's hilarious though, because maybe the audience doesn't see this. They do sometimes. They don't get to see it, but like you're all wearing like shorts underneath there. It's just blazers. Nobody
That's
bothered to
not
wear
true.
anything.
I'm wearing jeans. Andy did put on his slacks. Andy wore his
Oh,
slacks.
and you got his big boy pants on?
He did put his big boy
That's
pants
so
on.
appropriate for him.
Yeah. So, Parris, how often do you think about just saying, I'm done with having a successful real career and I'm just going to go into content creation? I'm going to move
Not
to
at
San
all.
Francisco. God damn it.
Not at all.
I can't
Not
blame
at
you.
all. I like nice things. I like having a house. I like having a car.
I see it every day with comics, because everyone wants to go full tilt like into comedy all the time, but you don't. I mean, it's just so fucking hard. And I've had so many friends of mine that are like, in order to do this, and excel and succeed, you have to go all in. You have to quit your job. You have to divorce your wife. You have to fucking sell your assets. You got to move to New York and just sleep in a cab and do all these things. And then they inevitably have to get a job. And I'm like, it's hard. This shit's really, really hard,
Well, we were talking about this in the drive-in. I was watching the podcast with you and Destin, so you were kind of replaying how Kind of Funny started. And as much as I would love to do what you all have built here. I would love to do it full time. I mean, there's no question about that. But at the same time, just like you're recanting, it's like, all right, how much do I need to make to survive?
Yeah.
And I'm at a point in my life now. I got 3 kids, a wife, freaking dog pooped in the living room this morning because I wasn't there to take him out. It's like I have other responsibilities other than just myself. So I can't, even if I would want to.
But I wonder that I mean, it's just something that I spend time thinking about, because obviously we're very fortunate we get to do this full time. But I look at sort of this and my comedy career as sort of tangential. But I'm never willing to sacrifice this for that. Thankfully, they play well together.
Yeah.
But I think about this a lot, because I'm like, in order for you to pursue these, and I put myself back in where we were at IGN, where we used to just leave at 5 o'clock on a Wednesday and be like, and none of us wanted to go podcast.
Yeah.
But there was always one person who's like, we should. And you have people that'll push you to do that, and you go do that. And then I look at my life now, and I look at other people's lives now, and I was like, you're looking at 12-hour days sometimes, 14-hour days sometimes, just to pursue this thing at night.
Yeah.
Where is that? I mean, that's the only way you can do it, right? There's no real way to do it except for it's got to be additive.
Like people ask me all the time, how do I balance it? And I'm lucky that I have a day job that is flexible. I can literally do it from anywhere. Hell, I was doing it out there earlier, so that helps. I have
You move the mic
leadership.
closer.
Whoops!
got
I have
one.
leadership.
Joe, let me scoot you closer into the
Yeah, I know. I always.
Just drop the chair a little bit and scoot you
You're already
closer.
huge. Why you got to be
Yeah, I'm
taller?
always-
You know what I
You
mean?
don't need to be
bar.
taller than me. There you go.
Here we go.
Get in there. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
right.
make it your own.
All right,
Do
there
it.
we go.
We're good.
But no, but I'm lucky that I have a job that I can do from anywhere. I have bosses that are supportive of hobby stuff that I do, so they've always been cool about that. And lack of sleep.
Yeah,
I mean, that's really all
that's a
it
big
comes
one
down
for me.
to.
Yeah,
It's like you might catch me doing something at midnight, 1 o'clock in the morning, just because that's when I have time. Like I get up at 5 o'clock in the morning every day, because that's kind of my early window where I don't have to worry about anyone except
What
myself.
time you go to bed?
Just depends. 10, 11, 12.
Oh, okay.
That's lucky for you.
Crazy.
If I could wave a magic wand and
Yeah.
change one thing in my life, it would be. I had a buddy of mine who was a comic, and we were hanging out, and I was like, "Do you want to hang out and have a drink?" He goes, "No, because I'm doing this new thing where no matter what happens, I'm in bed by 11."
Ah,
And I'm like, that, and I was like, "How has it been?" He goes, "Life changing." Because he's like, I wake up every day refreshed. I wake up at like 7 or 8, and I just feel good. And man, I tell you what, like sleep to me, like getting a good night's sleep is the difference for me.
Yeah.
As you see it, of like, am I good on that piece of content, or
sure.
was I phoning it in? Was I shitty? Was I not bringing it for the people around me? And so I wish, like you see every single study out there. It's like people that wake up at 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. are just better. They're just better human
if
beings.
you get the
than people.
workout in or something,
The
get it all
workout in, your
going,
circadian rhythms, circadian rhythms is like where it's supposed to be. As mine is so far out of whack because it'll be 1 or 2 in the morning. And I'm like, I can have another sandwich right now. I could watch another episode of this stupid show that I don't need to be watching.
Yeah.
It's bad.
Yeah, for
Bad.
the 2 things on that is number 1, when I was playing years ago, Sea of Thieves with Phil Spencer. I forget how I guilted him into that on Twitter to play with him, right? I'm not even name dropping. But it was like we're playing and it was just like 9:55 or whatever. He's like, All right, Greg, something you need to know about me is I stopped playing games at 10 o'clock every night. I was like, that is restraint. I couldn't imagine.
No,
because I'm king of, I'm going to do this till then. And then I get to then, I'm like, well, I didn't do the thing I wanted the way I wanted. So I'm going to keep going. And then it's midnight, it's 12:30 or whatever it is.
Yeah, but you don't historically stay up super late though, right?
Midnight's my cutoff.
Yeah.
But I mean, like I was making the joke on the game of the year thing with Astro about where it's like I'll push if I can get it done 12. But yeah, midnight's as late as I go. But the problem is, like I have the built-in energy suck of Ben who I love. But it is that idea of the times I've gone down there to review games, and I'm like, I am playing till midnight because if I do that, it'll be 4 hours tonight, and then tomorrow, worst case, 3 hours, and then it's that thing where I'm nodding off of the controller, and I'm waking up and Kratos is running into the wall because I've fallen asleep pushing the stick down. I'm like, fuck, I gotta go to bed. I don't want to go to bed. I gotta go to bed.
I have a similar thing. I'll just fall asleep on the couch watching the 30th episode of The Resident that night. I'm like, what am I doing with my life? It's just not even productive.
But here's the question about that.
Yes,
because there are few things in the realm of sleep that I love more than falling asleep on the couch to something on television. And Jen, of course, hates it. So I have to hide it. I got to position pillows if I'm saying goodbye. And when she hears the glasses go off, she's like, you're about to fall asleep. I'm like, nah, I'm awake. I'm doing this thing. But it's like, as soon as I start, she wants to go to bed. And then I get into bed and I'm like, not wide awake, but I'm not where I just was.
Well, you know I mean? I'm not luckily or not lucky. It's not a luck thing, but my wife, her schedule is so different than mine that she wakes up early in the morning for her work. And so Dee's in bed by latest 8:30.
Oh, wow.
8:30 is like, if it's 9 o'clock and she's still awake, like it's either a Friday night or we've done something horribly wrong with our decisions for eating that night. Because it's like sugar and caffeine. And she's like, why did I do this to myself? So we have an interesting dynamic, which is that in the mornings she gets all this time to herself, and then at the evenings I get all this time to myself. And I've taken that nice leeway that my relationship has afforded me and completely abused it with stand-up comedy. Yeah. Because look at this last weekend, I was out Thursday night, Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night, till God knows when, walking in, waking her, up at 1 o'clock in the morning, and she's
clanging around.
She's like, how many nights can you walk in smelling like bourbon? I'm like, all of them.
You watch me. Watch me.
But so for me,
when I get that Pluto TV comedy special.
Oh my God, I want one on Tubi. They're doing them on OnlyFans now.
Great.
No, they're doing OnlyFans comedy specials. I feel like that's right up my alley. No, but so I'm fortunate in that, or kind of fortunate but unfortunate in that I don't have anything stopping me from staying up all night.
Sure.
Occasionally, my wife, who is an amazing adult, will walk out at 2 o'clock in the morning and go, it is time to go to bed. And I will fight her like I'm a child. I'll be like, no, fine, I got one more. She's like, you're sleeping on, like, she'll be like, what happened in the last episode? I'm like, I don't fucking know. It's the fucking thing on Netflix. Like, are you still watching? I'm like, she got me, man. She got me. And then she'll drag me to bed. And I think to myself, and I think a lot of it is just anxiety for the next day. I like staying up because I'm like, even if you're excited about the next day, sometimes you get in your head, you're like, what are we going to do? You can say that. So there are those rare moments where I go to myself, I said, just go to, it's 11:30. And I have to say to myself, Parris, I have to say, wouldn't it be nice if you could just go to bed right now and get like 9 hours of sleep? Because that's what I need to be peak Nick Scarpino.
I can't. And I'm
how
sure.
How many hours a night do you sleep?
Like I said, if I go to bed at midnight, I'm getting up at 5. Like,
so you're up at 5 no matter what.
It doesn't matter. I'm up at 5.
That is wild to me.
But I think it's the Navy, man. Been like that since the Navy. I cannot help it.
They probably did you a solid on that one though, because
not
I don't know, man. Because seriously, and everyone, they always say that people need very different. There's like different sleep studies and stuff. I think I need a solid like 9 hours of sleep from start to finish to feel peak brain capacity, like peak energy, happiness levels. Like my brain's firing. Like even today, we play that game that I think we're gonna play tomorrow. Which I can't never fucking remember the name of it.
Yeah,
Can you look it up?
No, but hold on.
It's basically 6 degrees of 6 degrees of Kevin Bacon, the movie where you 1v1
but it's competitive with other people.
And
the thing I don't know the real name of it. I just love that
it's on the calendar.
No, on the calendar it's Roger's Special Movie Game, which sounds like either a snuff film or a porn or whatever.
We're playing tomorrow. So tomorrow, for everyone that's joining us on Twitch and YouTube, after Gamescast, we're gonna be playing Sin 2 Nerdle. Or Sin 2 Nerd, maybe he typed that incorrectly. But it's so fun. But it's basically like, you start with the movie, you pick an actor or director, anyone associated with that, name another film in it. And normally I'm fire on this. I'm pulling shit out of my ass that you've never seen before. Movies that I remember watching one time on
So you've been training for this your whole life.
my entire life. And today, because I burned it out a little bit all weekend, I just couldn't name a single movie.
Ouch.
And I got 8 hours of sleep last night, but I just needed a little bit more. Yeah, this is rad. This is fun. This is it right here. Everyone should go play this. This is really fun. Sign up for it.
Yeah, my biggest thing is the revenge bedtime procrastination. Have you heard of this?
Oh yeah.
Revenge bedtime procrastination.
You told me about
RBP
this. Yeah.
is the act of sacrificing sleep for leisure time to make up for the lack of free time during the day.
Yeah.
And this is the thing of like,
Yeah.
I don't care how fucking tired I am. The goal is to get downstairs and turn on the PlayStation, the Switch, the Xbox, the whatever, to do whatever and play a game. No matter how much it hurts me. And the amount of times I've gotten down there and I turn it on, I'm like, I didn't want to play this. And I move to the next day, I don't play this. I'm like, shit, I should have gone to bed an hour and a half ago. But goddamn it, I wanted to play something and I'm playing something.
I do the same thing, and the worst thing is I do it on the weekends too. So I'll go, Friday, Saturday night I'll go out, and I had 2 shows last Saturday night. Didn't get home till 1 o'clock in the morning, and I'm like, I still need my me time, which is so stupid and selfish. And then I wake up at noon the next day, and my wife's like, well, you have another show at 8. So we only have, really, after you get ready and shit, we have like 4 hours together before I have to start getting ready for the other show. It's bad. But for me, it's less about like, I really do think it's more like, I look at the day ahead and go, fuck, I've got so much shit to do. Like, I just don't want it to come yet. I want just one more 30-minute moment where there's no future.
Yeah.
It's just, I'm just in this moment.
Yeah.
It's so comforting for me. And then you go, oh, what's in the refrigerator? Is there some pizza in there that I could eat right now? Because that makes it better. Because then if I'm eating, I'm like being productive.
Parris, are you a late night eater?
I try to not be.
Yeah.
I am sometimes. I've definitely, when I'm sick, I am. So I
Okay.
have been lately, but I try to not be.
What's the cutoff for you for food?
It's not a thing. Like, I don't have a sweet tooth. Like, there's the rare occasion where I
Yeah.
do want a sweet. So usually I eat dinner and then I'm just done.
Really?
I don't crave eating more.
So
Popcorn of the movie, sure.
So-
Again, rarely I'll chocolate something, but like,
That's unbelievable.
No, it's not
That's
me.
the other thing. If I could change that about myself, I honestly think that I'd be like, I could probably shed 20 pounds if I stopped eating. Because the nights that are the weeks that I'm like, hey, just eat in a window from like noon to like 7 or 8, normal window, and just don't eat anything past that, I just drop weight fast. But last night, for instance, I came home from the show, and I was like, what if I just ate olives?
sure.
And I ate blue cheese stuffed olives
Why not?
while watching an HBO Max show. This is stupid. I don't know why the fuck I do it.
I get it.
It's an addiction.
I'll say when I was at the peak of my powers as far as being in shape, I was basically intermittent fasting because I would stop eating at 7 and I wouldn't eat again until noon.
Yeah, and that's actually not like I've done that. It's not that hard once you push past that first week.
Yep.
But the problem I have is that sleep to me is paramount. So like I don't want anything to disturb my sleep because there's so many studies that have come out that it's like sleep is the most important thing. It's the most important thing for like warding off things like dementia, Alzheimer's, all these things, and your body just self-regulates and does all these cool things. And I will go and I'm like, I know that intermittent fasting is great for me, and I know, but my brain is conditioned to want to eat at midnight. And if I don't, I will wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning starving, and I'll be staring, and I will not be able to go back to bed until I go to the kitchen and get a snack. It's fucked up. It's bad.
Yeah,
Like,
no, I'll do the thing where I'll get to the end of the night and be like, I'll like brush me, then, fuck, I'm hungry. I'll eat in the morning, and I go to bed just grumbling.
that's why. See, I would just literally not be able to go to sleep.
Yeah.
And I think it's just because I've trained my body to want that thing. And I think you can absolutely retrain it. I just don't have the willpower for it yet.
Yeah, over here, 8-Bit Louise says Greg's sweet crave is his random Coke cravings, lol. And it's a story I've told on a couple different podcasts in anecdote form. But yeah, Jen was out of town. Ben finished swim class and we were driving home. And I was like, holy shit, I want a Coca-Cola so bad right now. To the point that I was like, I didn't do any of it, but I was like, well, if I pulled over here, he's strapped in, I could leave him and run into the gas station. You know what I mean? I was like, well, that's weird. Well, I could text a neighbor. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, you don't need to Coke this badly. I talked myself off the ledge. But
See, I
it was
would have
like,
gotten the Coke.
I looked at DoorDash and it's like, get a Coke for like $13 or whatever. Like, no.
This is how fucked up my brain is. Saturday night, maybe it was Friday night. Friday night, I hadn't eaten. And we were walking home, and this is like 1 o'clock in the morning. We walked past this sandwich place that's still open, and I was like, fuck it, I'm getting a sandwich. And I was like, what do you get? And my buddy was like, I'm getting a sandwich called the Gotti. Now, anything called the Gotti,
You love the
Parris,
Gotti.
not good for you. This has mortadella in it. It's got every type of cured, like sandwiched meat that you could possibly put in there. And it was so good that the next day I was at the same venue and we ordered Thai food. I ate the Thai food, and on the way back, I remembered how fun it was to eat the sandwich. I'm full. And I go, I'm going to get a half a sandwich. I'm going to see if this guy wants to split a sandwich with me again. And I did. And I'm eating the sandwich. I'm like, I don't want this.
Yeah.
But the Dutch Crunch tasted so good in my mouth that I handled it.
Dutch Crunch, such a turnoff. It's like Captain Crunch, tears up the roof of my mouth. I don't want
it. If it's not fresh. If it's fresh, then you get a little bit of a pass with it.
Okay.
If you put enough mayonnaise on the sandwich.
Okay, fair enough.
You have to let it soak through to the bottom and the top of it.
Yeah, over here in the live chat, Mr. Nice Guy Rye says, I'm the dad of a 1-year-old, and I've never felt the need to have leisure time at night until I had him. And that's obviously a huge part of it for me as well, where it's like, am I going to play games tonight? Am I not going to, or me and Jen going to watch some, whatever it is. But then it's like the fact that everything's truncated a bit in terms of like my evening is so regimented until Ben goes to sleep that's where it'll be like, I'm whipping out the Portal, the Steam Deck, Jen put out whatever you want on TV, or I'm trying to outlast her to go downstairs to play something, blah.
Yeah.
And then nights where you just go to bed. Because you got to go to bed.
Yeah, you got to go to bed.
I don't want to go to bed, but I got to go to bed.
I hate it.
I know.
I fucking
Sleeping
hate it.
sucks. Like, it's great, but it sucks.
Sleeping is great, but when you can't get good sleep, or if you have something keeping you up, or if you get in your anxiety, it's just fucking, there's so much anxiety that comes along with sleep for me.
Yeah.
I hate it. Yeah. So I have to have a specific, like, perfect set of circumstances just to fall asleep.
Well, that was, for me, kind of funny anniversary. We end the stream at like 2:45 or whatever. And I crawl into bed at 3:11. And amber is the color of energy. I crawl into bed at 3:11, and I'm like, all right, guess what? In 2 hours and 49 minutes, he's awake. Yeah. So I got to go to sleep now. We got to shut down everything immediately. Yeah. It's like an emergency, control, delete. And I got in my head of like, time's ticking. Now, now you got 2 hours.
Gotta get to the airport tomorrow. What if I miss the flight?
Exactly,
what happens?
Exactly.
But see, the difference between you and me, and I'm curious about you, is you're a deep sleeper. Like, you'll go to bed and be done. What about you? Do you sleep like, do you just hit the pillow out?
Okay, so weird little quirk about me. If I don't need it to go to sleep, but I will listen to a podcast. Or something. And I'm out in 5 minutes. Like, I don't even know what the fuck I was just listening to. I'm out immediately, but it's that noise, and I'll just fall asleep.
I need white noise. And
my wife has the stupid fan thing going.
I used to have a fan, but then my wife was like, what if we got something that didn't dry out our sinuses? And I was like, that's why I married you. You're the thinker of the group. It was to the point where when we were on vacation this last round, it was so quiet in the hotel that neither of us could sleep for the first few nights. Because I had conditioned her to have like that white noise going and like the feeling of like, air circulating in the room. And, when you get to a nice hotel, it's like they purposely make the air conditioning not sound loud as fuck. But yeah, I need that. And then I just need, like, I have neighbors that are loud. I have a kid that lives above me and he's lovely. It's fine. But, kids have an internal clock. And I know that this particular child wakes up at 7:15 every single morning.
Sleeping in late. Nice.
And for me... But when that kid's not there, my quality of sleep goes up so much. It'll be 9 o'clock. I'll just wake up like, oh my God, it's so nice to not get. Because I don't know if your child does this. I don't know if Ben's at this phase in his life. But children that I have lived around hit a phase I like to call the Alien 3. Where you don't hear them. And then all of a sudden,
yeah.
And I don't know where they're going. I don't live in a big apartment.
Yeah.
It's not big. And I know the neighbor's apartment is the same as mine.
Same footprint.
How is this kid doing laps? Like, he has to stop.
Well, think about how much bigger it is for him.
That's
true.
What I mean? He had little feet.
I think about how small our house is all the time. And I'm like, but I remember my house growing up was small too, but I don't remember it as being small, right? Because I was a kid running around.
Dude, I told my mom, but last time I saw my mom, I was like, this kid runs so much. And I was like, I never ran. She goes, oh, you were a fucking menace. She's like, you and your brother used to just slide down the stairs in the laundry basket, slam into the door, and then do it again. And I was like, we did do that shit. Shit like that.
Yeah, when Ben starts throwing all the cushions off the couch, that's when he's going to start swan diving off the couch onto the ground.
Yeah,
so,
smart.
Thank goodness he's putting the pillows down. I'll take it. You know what I mean?
At what point do they stop running in the house?
They stop?
They'll move out eventually. He'll get.
I mean, honestly,
not in this economy.
No, exactly.
They're not going anywhere.
They're lovely, and honestly, it's one of those things where, as a light sleeper, you just have to adjust how you like deal with stuff. So I've got like earplugs and noise canceling headphones and stuff like that. I sleep fine. And I'm conditioned to know like that's going to happen. It's fine. And that's totally fine. But it would be nice one day to live like in a stone compound out in the middle of the woods where there are no sounds ever. But I think that's not
gonna happen
that's
for you
gonna
in
happen for
San
me.
Francisco.
I'll never forget. My buddy Craig moved out to the suburbs. And I was
Yeah.
like, "How you like it?" He goes, "It's so quiet." It's like, really? He's like, "Yeah, dude, I sleep like a baby." I'm like, "Oh, maybe one day. Maybe I got to get out of the city."
Not too hard. Just do it. You know.
Yeah.
Put all the money on black at the at the tables.
No, dude,
and then you
yeah.
go out that way. Yeah.
Just move
Yeah.
in.
Jen sleeps incredibly light, and I'm the complete opposite. Where she'll wait in the morning. She'll be like, "Do you remember saying X, Y, and Z to me?" And we're like, not like sleepwalk talking, but like we woke up because the dog was doing something or bent, and I was like, "No, I don't remember this conversation. I was on autopilot, but I got it done," kind of thing. This was the weekend for me of I earned a lot of credit with Jen because she was sick this weekend with just a cold, and then Ben also got sick Friday night going into the weekend, and so I was in his room Friday night all night, sleeping in the chair holding him, and so he's every 15 minutes coughing and hacking, and I had to give him water, to keep whatever. And I woke up Saturday, I was ready to go. It got like a 45-minute
Little
nap
cat
when
nap.
Jen got out.
Yeah.
It got 45 minutes. I was set all day. She
Good
couldn't
for
believe
you.
her eyes.
Good
Same
for
thing
you.
yesterday. I was killing it.
Oh, you're a
Same thing
good
today.
dad.
Look at me
You
now.
guys are good dads.
We're trying out there. You know what I mean? Paris is better than me. He's done it too many times.
Where's he going?
3 times
I
over.
wouldn't say better. It's just I have a lot of reps.
Dude, I honestly, real talk though, and I know we're probably gonna wrap this up soon.
No,
but
we're
like,
doing great.
I'm fascinated by how good dads all my friends are, and obviously, like we've talked a lot about our generation of dads who were like had a different vibe.
Yeah,
You know, a little less involved in the overall.
Paris's dad, way different vibe.
Yeah, that takes the cake.
To be fair, the person I consider my dad
Yeah.
wasn't my real dad.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
And yeah, he was awesome.
And my dad was a great
Yeah.
dad too.
My dad was great too. Yeah,
But it's
Yeah.
just so
Not the same
funny
kind
that
of
like
dad, though.
the stories that you tell about Ben,
Yeah.
right? The stories I've seen with my other friends that, when I'm at their houses and their dads are like, oh, they're so involved and like on a level of like not friendship, but you can tell that later in life they're going to be like good, like really, really bonded together.
Yeah.
I'm just like, huh, that's a thing, huh?
yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I love Big Lou. I
Yeah.
love him. We talk all the time. And we have the things we talk about. But I never like we were always just kind of two ships passing the night. He was like, "You doing good?" I was like, "Doing great, Big Lou." And then I would go to school and he'd go to work, and that was
Yeah.
pretty much it.
Yeah, it's a conversation I was having with Paris today, right? That's his life then as a dad and my life as a dad, right? And like that conversation I've said on this show so many times that we only get 18 summers with Ben, right? But my hope that it's more than that
Well, in this
because
economy, it'll be 30 summers.
Well, his own thing that he'll be working too hard then. But it's the idea, right, of like once he's 18, 19, whatever, in a non-suffocating way, I still want to do let's have a family vacation. Let's all go
yeah.
somewhere together. But like I see Poe is doing that right now with Jack and Jack's grandparents, Poe's parents, or whatever, and blah, blah. And it's like the thing of like, oh man, like that's crazy to me. Like that seems so foreign. My parents are just not, we've never had that family relationship where it's like we're all going somewhere and doing
Yeah.
something. We had a motorhome when I was growing up and we did like the weekend excursion, but like, I graduated. I went to, in high school, we stopped camping. I went to college. They split up. Everybody just started living their own independent life. And so it's this weird idea of like being them all coming together.
I've been fortunate in the last year actually, because my wife and I like to travel, and I passed the old. I was 16 years old driving out to Laughlin, Nevada with the folks. Like I haven't seen my parents outside of this country or outside of the state
Right.
in probably 20 years.
yeah.
They usually just hang out in their house. And so this last year, I was actually fortunate that my wife and I went to Italy, and my parents were like inspired, and they went to go visit the town my mom was born in, and I saw them there. And so I got to see my parents in my mom's town that she was born in
Yeah.
with her brother and all of their cousins and my cousins. So that was really cool. And then in a fun surprise, Dee and I went to London for her birthday over the holidays, and my brother was there for one day with his wife. So we got to hang out and have dinner with my brother in London and his wife. They'd just seen a cool show, and I was like, well, this is a cool treat. Maybe this could be the reality of that, where I just go, hey, we're gonna maybe be here. Let's have a day or two of overlap,
Yeah.
and that's it. Not like 2 weeks of being in a hotel room together, not locked on a cruise together. That's never gonna happen. But like maybe we could coordinate that a little bit more, and that could be really cool because it was a very supremely positive experience. I'm very fortunate to have gotten. Very, very special.
Yeah, to bring it back though, it will be interesting to see our generation, our peers, everybody out there who wants to become dads and see what those relationships look like. Because even my mom has been like, "Man, you're such a a good dad, and like not a where'd you learn that, like, you know, my dad was garbage or anything, but it's like so different than how my dad was, right? And even, you know, I'm sure how moms are to whatever, but it's like for me talking about this of like, hey, this is a different vibe than it was, and where does all that come from? And it's so interesting of just like generational and I think cultural and where you are. And
Yeah, it'll be cool. It'll be cool. It'll be cool seeing him when he's of age to want to hang out with all of us and actually want to hang out with all of us.
Yeah, well, I
And
mean,
that's really
you're
nice,
going to go
guys.
through that
So-
rough part, right? Where like now he wants to be here every day. He's always asking about the Kind of Funny podcast. He's always asking about what's going on.
Yeah, we got to get him on.
Yeah, but well, then you know, then he's
Poor
gonna be
Mike's gonna have a heart attack.
too cool.
Did I tell you about this? Ben came in to come play, and Mike, being Mike, let's put it this way: Mike would throw himself in front of a moving car for Greg.
Yeah.
He would
For
take a
this
bullet
company?
for Greg. No, it's mostly for you.
Okay.
Because I don't get the same vibe for me. I think maybe he'd stub his toe for me. That'd be max. But so when Greg's son comes in, of course, Mike is like, I got
Royalties here.
Oh, the prince is here. I have to take care of the prince. Mike doesn't have kids, and Mike's doesn't have a ton of energy for athletic stuff these days. Ben's playing with him for 30 minutes, and I look and I see Mike sweating. But Ben's like blocking the door, so Mike can't get out.
Yeah.
And so every time he goes, okay, you play over there. Ben goes, no, you play with me.
Yeah.
And Mike locked eyes with me. I was like, your job depends on it.
Yeah.
Get back in there, motherfucker. I was like, you like having a paycheck? That was pretty fun.
Yeah, I forget what it was. It was Mike finally got a break, and then I think it was like
He was so tired. Dude. He
Roger
slept
played
all
with him
day.
for a little bit, and then had to go do something. And like Ben, this is all secondhand from Jen, but Ben turned to Jen. He's like, "Find me someone else fun to play with." It's like, I need to go to the next person.
That's awesome.
So he ran ruckshot through everyone
Oh,
at Kind of
I
Funny
love
on
it.
Kind of
I
Funny
love
Day.
it.
They have enough going on, but Ben's running around. But yeah, you figure I'm very much looking forward to that. You know, I mean, like I have videos and we talked about it on the show, but like, you know, when Jen needed a break out there and everybody was busy, she just parked him at the desk and he played Forza at my desk. And everybody's walking by looking at this 3-year-old just sitting there with his controller, and he had like all these pillows propped up in my chair to play. And he's like that level already. So it's like, imagine summer vacation when he is 7. It's like, all right, come to work with me. You
Yeah.
stream all day long. You know what I
That'd be
mean?
fine.
Do whatever you need to do. You'll hang out in that room, play whatever you want. They'll put you on camera. They won't do it, whatever you want to be.
Yeah, it'll be blast.
Yeah.
It's going to be fun.
And then eventually
So
get to
speaking
sports.
of, in March, I'm coming up here for Golden State Warriors game.
Nice.
That's my son's favorite team, right? So again, trying to be a good dad,
Love it.
all that, right?
Love it.
But anyways, the
He has
point
good
I'm
taste.
bringing is, I want to bring him in here.
Hell yeah.
And to your point about streaming, so I'm very fascinated to see how he'll react to this place.
Toss him on here. You
And
do a
everyone-
one-on-one Kind of Funny podcast with
Yeah,
him.
he
Interview him
won't-
for
he-
us.
He won't do it. He won't do it.
I mean, I think of this place from a kid's perspective, and it's got to just be like mystifying, right? It's got to just be like a candy store of just
Yeah.
what is this? What's going on here? None of this makes any sense. Every video game you could possibly want is right there. Toys everywhere. And let's be perfectly honest, there's always pizza.
Yeah.
We're never not
Thank
ordering
God.
pizza these
Thank
days.
God.
And when Ben was here, 4 different kinds of donuts. Like this,
Yeah.
if I were him at like when I was growing up, I would never want to.
What do you think of the What do you think of the tattoo artist, Mimi Sama? She brought her 7-year-old daughter here. I imagine if your mom is an awesome tattoo artist, you go some pretty cool places. But she walked in here and it's all monitors and TVs. And what do you want? Mike was like, "What do you want to play? Oh, we got that. We'll get you this."
Yeah.
She's watching Bluey in another language over here. It's like, oh yeah, everything you want.
She posted up on the Let's Play Lounge couch or Let's
Yeah.
Play couch and was laughing and smiling and talking and just entertaining the shit out of herself the entire day. And I was
Yeah.
like, yeah, well, good. That's what this is all about.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah. We're so cool to kids.
Remember when did you ever? Well, your dad had a cool job, but my dad, I loved him. He used to work in the office, and I remember going to visit him, and I was like, I think I'm outstaying my welcome here.
Yeah,
I don't think this is not a kid-friendly environment that they don't want people.
Yeah,
here.
mom was always office administrative assistant or whatever,
Dad was
executive
office.
assistant. So yeah, it's just a boring ass office building every time. All right.
I remember going. I distinctly remember we had this set of pictures that we only had like one family picture set that we ever took, and so it just was there. And I remember going, and my dad had it on his desk, and I was like, "Huh, you got the whole like you just look at us all day, huh? Huh."
He's like, I do it for you. This is the reminder.
No, it was great. It was just always so interesting and so foreign to me that I was like, "This is where my dad goes every day," because your life is completely different. You'd go to school and you had a whole different life. It's cool.
Yeah, yeah.
Weird.
Everybody, this is the Kind of Funny podcast. Of course, if you are a Kind of Funny member, whether it be on Patreon, whether it be on YouTube, those are the ones you can watch live on, you of course can be a part of the chat and we read your thing. But for some reason, a bunch of people super chatted today, which I appreciate, but it's not needed. You can always just hang out and talk. But some of your super chats here I want to toss out. Bam followed up and said one recommendation for Nick for a match is All Out 2024 Hangman vs Swerve. There's storyline and violence. He also says John Cena versus AJ Styles Royal Rumble WWE. Any Kenny Omega since he's my favorite. Lol. And then he says, this crew, Greg, Nick, Parris, are the GOAT. I'll take that.
I'll take it
that.
too.
Yeah.
He's not wrong.
Bam also follows up for historical importance, and it's an amazing match. Sasha Banks, now Mercedes Moné, versus Bianca Belair at WrestleMania a couple years ago. You might have been there for that. That might have been one of the manias we took you to.
Yeah, that was the chair incident.
That was a Royal Rumble.
Okay.
What am I, Jesus of Nazareth? Mikey Mogg says, Parris and the X-Cast are the reason I am a Kinda Funny fan. I've been a fan for 2 years now, and I never miss an episode of y'all. Kinda Funny is so incredible.
That's awesome.
That was
Thanks,
a fun
man.
time at X-Cast. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sucks that Tim killed it.
Yep.
Just
It
strangled
is.
it right there.
Bummer, man. You ever notice Tim only kills stuff he's not on?
Yeah, weird, huh?
Wow.
KFAF. Debatable. You know?
We have cool friends.
Cooking with Greggy. Mr. Nice Guy Rye became a member and said, I started watching wrestling in 92 and was enthralled with the territories once I had the ability to watch FCW and WCCW on the WWE Network a few years ago. And that's a trip to go back and watch all that old stuff. I go back and watch old ECWs. Like, what was happening in this random ass hardcore TV from 1999?
Just one shot, a static shot, no close-ups at all. I guess that guy's doing that.
And then a final super chat before we get out of here comes from Prairie, who says, we need to hire Stella. She is hilarious. Loved having her on the shows. Stella is hilarious. We love having Stella on the shows. I will be upfront with you because this is the Kinda Funny podcast, and I hate this comment. People leave this kind of comment all the time, and I understand you think you're being supportive, and you are, and I love you, and I'm glad you're saying how much you like Stella. We are an 11-person small business. I should hire Stella. I should hire Janet. I should hire everybody who's been laid off. It's just I should fucking hire Parris, right? Mm-hmm. It's not the compliment you think it is because it just makes me feel guilty that we can't hire people and we can't make it work. And
the sentiment is there.
The sentiment is there, but I'm just being vulnerable and honest that it's a comment I don't like because it is always like,
you failed.
I know we should. I know we should. But like, are you listening to the small business part? You're supporting us on Patreon and tipping, so I can't. But like the people who say it as a drive-by on Twitter, it's like, cool. Did you go to give $1,000? Like what? And even if you did, was that what we would spend the money on? I doubt it. We'd have there's a million other things and da 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 da.
Sure.
Like I talked about on the anniversary stream, right? Like 20 heartbeats right now are directly connected to the 11 of us out there, not including part-timers, not including this. It's like it's a lot of moving parts over here. We're trying. We're doing our goddamn best. All right. You got somebody who wants to be an angel investor and get nothing in return, let us know. Because we wouldn't give up any of the we don't want to give up any of the control, but we'll take the money and try to hire our friends for it.
That's fair.
I digress, everybody. This has been another episode of the Kinda Funny podcast. If you didn't know, each and every week, 4, sometimes 3 best friends gather on this table. Each coming to hang out and talk shop with you. If you like that, head over to patreon.com/kindafunny, youtube.com/kindafunnygames, Apple and Spotify, where you can pick up the Kinda Funny membership. You can support us and keep the 11, maybe one day more of us employed. Of course, you could, in return, you get everything ad-free, the ability to watch live as we record the afternoon shows, and of course, your daily dose of me in a series we call Gregway. Parris, I love having you around. I'm excited you're here tomorrow. You're doing a whole bunch of stuff tomorrow, right?
Yes.
Games Daily, Games
Yeah,
Cast.
it's going to be a lot of fun. I am always appreciative of being here, so thank you for having me.
Where can people keep up with you?
You can keep up with me at Gamertag Radio.
20 years.
Yes, 20 years, Danny Payne. I have not been there for all 20, but it's 20 years. And I'm obviously on social media, Vicious696, and I'm here.
Excellent. Nick,
Gregory.
do more comedy at the Sports Basement.
Oh, man.
We walked by that yesterday, and Jen's like, I got to go in there. I'm like, I got a story for you. Nick did
Did
comedy
you go
there
to
for
the
like
one
25
in the
people.
one in Presidio?
Yeah.
Did you look in the little back?
No, we didn't go in it. We
I
walked
see.
by, and she's like, I've always wanted to go in there. I'm like, I have not, but Nick did comedy in there.
I would love to. It was a fun show.
Yeah.
It would have been a little bit more fun with more people.
Yeah.
But I had a good time. I had a good set.
All right.
Thank you. I will. I'll let you know.
Let me know next time, okay? We'll bring Ben, because Ben likes to go down there and we do the geocaching.
I'll tell you what, Ben would love it because they haven't quite figured out that the show starts at 7:30, but the Sports Basement closes at like 7. So it's a weird vibe.
Just dead.
It's
a
like
dead zone.
It's like, did you ever see Mannequin?
The classic Kim Cattrall movie. Of course I saw it.
Right? Where you're just wandering around a store by yourself
Andrew
at
McCarthy.
night, and you're like, I shouldn't be here, but the bathroom's way the fuck over there. It was weird, but it was fun.
Love it.
Yeah.
Everybody, Sports Basement's the thing here in San Francisco. Doesn't matter. Until next time, it's been our pleasure to serve you.
It's self-explanatory.